For my fellow conspiracy theory connoisseurs out there, one topic I think you should familiarize yourself with is that of free energy. And when you start digging into free energy, something you come across is how, going on well over a century now, there's been a whole host of free energy inventors who have been suppressed, censored, and silenced. Free energy inventors that, say, figure out how to run a car on water, or how to extract energy from the ether and make usable electricity from that, or even in terms of propulsion and figuring out how to couple electricity with gravity to create electrogravitic or levitating propulsion systems. And they've been censored, suppressed, and silenced in a myriad of ways, such as, say, having their warehouse burned down mysteriously, or being found murdered with 2 bullet holes to the back of the head, right? Something to that effect. Or being suicided, and other ways as well. Now, we have another energy researcher who has been mysteriously murdered at his home in Boston. Now, I will preface this. This gentleman wasn't necessarily a free energy researcher. He was researching into nuclear fusion, which is a somewhat mainstream, acceptable branch of science. But nevertheless, nuclear fusion is something that I could see, whether it be the deep state or some foreign power, I could see them also suppressing that branch of energy. Now, our murdered scientist here was an MIT professor by the name of, what was his name? Nuno Loureiro, if I'm saying that right. I am probably not. I'm just going to call him Nuno. He was a Portuguese-born researcher, 47 years old, professor at MIT, and he was found shot and killed at his home near Boston on Monday night. Last year, he was named to lead MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center. Honestly, what piques my interest here, what I think is more controversial, not necessarily the fusion part, but more so the plasma science aspect, the magnetic plasma science that he was researching into. Could he have been stumbling across some kind of secret or suppressed science or physics concepts, and that's why somebody didn't want him alive? I don't know, but again, with all the research I've done into energy inventors and energy researchers who have been silenced and suppressed and murdered over the decades, I think that is a plausible angle to look at. Now, Nuno here, a little bit of background on him. He is a Portuguese plasma physicist. He was born in Viseu, a city in central Portugal, and he studied in Lisbon in 2005. He went to Princeton, so about 20 years ago. He immigrated to the U.S. Then he went to study at a laboratory in the UK. He returned to Portugal, and then 10 years ago, he joined MIT as a professor and fusion scientist. He studied magnetic reconnection and plasma turbulence using computational simulations. He became a full professor in 2021 at the Department of Nuclear Science and Engineering. He was affiliated with various MIT initiative and institutes, member of the American Physical Society. So he's got quite the background. He's very well studied in nuclear fusion research and plasma physics research. And I think the plasma physics aspect of it is what is notable here. Here's this page on the MIT website. Nuno F. Loureiro, fusion and plasmas, modeling and simulation, quantum engineering as well. So a little bit of study into the quote-unquote quantum aspect of things. Now, some influencers out there are trying to take the religious angle with this, like Laura Loomer here. Laura Loomer, not a big surprise that she's trying to take the Jewish angle. because she claims he is reportedly Jewish and pro-Israel, and that's why she's claiming he was killed. I have found nothing reporting on him being Jewish and pro-Israel. I found nothing on that. I don't know where Laura Loomer is getting that. And again, since this gentleman was born in Portugal, if he did have any religious background, I would guess that it would be more Catholic, given that Portugal is a very heavily Catholic country. But given his background in physics research and science, I could see him as being more of a secular, non-religious type. But yeah, I've seen absolutely nothing here. I don't know where Laura Loomer is getting the Jewish and pro-Israel angle here. But of course, she has that kind of confirmation bias with her background that she's going to spin that with her particular bias. Now, on the Israel angle, though, the Jerusalem Post is reporting today that Israel is examining the possibility that Iran was involved in the murder of the nuclear scientist in the U.S. Okay. I'll be honest. When I see that, when I see Israel trying to pin blame on Iran for something, that makes me think Mossad did it. I'll be honest. That makes me think that Mossad had a hand in it. But whether it was Mossad, maybe it was legitimately Iran, okay? Because, of course, the U.S. just bombed Iran's nuclear facilities earlier this year, and there's always beef between Israel, Iran, the U.S. Some of that beef is involved over nuclear issues. I don't know. Can't say. I will say, though, I do know China is in quite the nuclear fusion race right now with the U.S. So, was it China? Was it Iran? Was it Mossad out of Israel? Or was it some kind of U.S. deep state globalist group? U.S. interests? I don't know. Can't say. I don't think we have any evidence to point a particular finger at anybody, but I think suggesting that he was unalived, if we should say, over his particular research, I think that is a plausibility. Just don't know who to point the finger at right now. Zach Voorhees here, our Google whistleblower, if you remember Zach Voorhees and his background, blowing the whistle on Google years back, and he's been kind of a social media content creator, influencer ever since. He also has that question. He posted here, assassinated MIT fusion professor was essentially like, if we just ignore Einstein and treat plasma as a continuous fluid instead of particles. It's ethereal mechanics, like what Lorentz and Tesla believed in. Zach Voorhees is posting a 4-year-old YouTube video from Nuno. This is the video that Zach Voorhees dug up and posted. And I watched about 10 minutes of this. I jumped around and clipped a few points, but essentially, yeah, some of the physics theories that Nuno here was talking about goes against the standard model of physics. And in this particular clip that I watched, he was even talking about, this is a 2021 video. And he was talking about in the year 2025, they're going to have a magnetic confinement fusion device operational.
The glow of the plasma inside, this is just a cartoon, of course. This is not a real experiment. We're building it now, hoping to have it working in 2025.
So that is this year. But, next year, there's a lot of companies right now that are just on the edge. They're just on the edge of having an operational nuclear fusion device. One aspect of fusion that is, I guess a lot of companies are looking to solve is they need what's called helium-3, a particular isotope of helium, and that is a big race for a lot of these countries and companies to find to power their nuclear fusion reactors. And there's not much helium-3 here on Earth, but there's a lot on the moon. And there's a race, I think China, I don't know if they already are, but they're definitely looking at mining helium-3 on the moon. And U.S. government and companies, a lot of companies and countries are looking at sending probes to the moon to mine helium-3 to bring back and power their fusion reactors. But there's other companies and countries that are just on the brink of a nuclear fusion breakthrough. Scientists once thought was impossible. British breakthrough. UK achieves it. U.S. companies, China as well, just on the breakthrough. So whatever country or company first has a nuclear fusion reactor, if you will, operational, they're going to be miles ahead. They're going to be able to generate a lot of electricity for their grid to power data centers and homes and factories and all sorts of stuff. So again, this is not free energy per se. This is different than quote unquote free or over unity energy. But it is a breakthrough that I could see, whether it's foreign countries, intelligence agencies, corrupted intelligence agencies, or some kind of deep state globalist group, I could see them trying to suppress it. Even though nuclear fusion, again, it's kind of mainstream, it's quote unquote accepted, unlike free energy. Free energy is not accepted. Over unity devices are not accepted. Ether physics is not. But nuclear fusion is, although it's still controversial. Something I could see certain powers wanting suppressed. So is that what happened here to Nuno? Don't know. But we will see what happens. I guess investigations proceeding, and various countries are trying to pin the blame on other countries for it. And this investigation, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But one last thing here, just on the topic of free energy inventors that have been suppressed and silenced over the years. I asked Grok. I tried searching in Google, but Google sucks. Their search engine sucks. I couldn't find shit for free energy inventors that have been killed or suicided. Grok gave me a short list. I've seen longer lists. I compiled quite a long list once upon a time, but I posted that to Twitter 1.0 and Facebook, and I got those accounts banned, so I lost that list. I'll try to dig it up. But Grok gave me a little bit. Stan Meyer. Stan Meyer's the one that developed the water fuel cell, the water-powered car, and he was poisoned after meeting with, I believe, NATO officials in Ohio in 1998. So you got Stan Meyer. Eugene Malov, prominent advocate for cold fusion or low-energy nuclear reactions. He was found killed in his home in Connecticut in 2004, beaten to death, blunt force trauma. Eugene Malov was quite a famous name in the free energy movement. He founded the Infinite Energy magazine. Tom Ogle developed a vaporized fuel cell that reportedly allowed cars to achieve over 100 miles per gallon. Seen as a threat to oil dependency, of course. He died in Texas in 1981 from an alleged overdose of alcohol and painkillers. Stefan Marinov worked on perpetual motion machines, died in 1997 in Austria from jumping off a staircase, so they say. And a few other names as well. And again, this is not a comprehensive list. Some post on LinkedIn I found as well had a few other names. Stan Meyer, Eugene Malov, Ogle, Marinov on this list, but a few others too. John Searle, lab raided by authorities and his generators were smashed. A lot of information out there about Searle and his Searle effect generator. John Bedini, the Bedini brothers actually, had their house burned down under suspicious circumstances, and a variety of other names on this list too. And there's many more. Of course, Nikola Tesla, all the suppression, and he's, of course, the most famous free energy inventor over the years, but there's others. So yeah, question is, was Nuno killed over some kind of science or physics or device he was working on that some corporate and or governmental powers out there did not want out there? Maybe. We shall see. We shall continue following this to see if any more information comes out.